I'm back. I got a little something going on here. It's a weekend, I'm looking a little peaky too, but anyway. There's a lot going on today. I'm making another crock pot meat. It's like pulled pork essentially. And the difference is I want to take some of the chilies and take those and make a chili sauce, shred up the pork, and then put the sauce back in and finish cooking it. So we'll see how that comes out, and if it's good, I'll video that too. I was gonna make a strawberry Napoleon today. Martha Stewart's recipe-ish, kind of a takeoff on what she suggested on a video that I liked, that I just want to save. And this is going to be Mongolian beef, so hopefully it's going to be good. That's why I'm videoing it. If you see this video, it means it was good. If you don't see this video, it means forget about it, that kind of thing. Okay, so I have flank steak, and there's something a little different here than what I usually do when I make meat or any type of Asian food, and I want to try it, and I'll tell you what it is when I get there. But the first thing I want to do is take this flank steak. I usually don't like any tough pieces of meat, or anything that needs to chew really hard. So usually if I have meat on a dish, I'll buy a really good piece of meat and then trim it up and cook it. But I want to try this technique, which is to tenderize the meat before you actually cook it. So with the flank steak, you see the grain. I think you're supposed to cut it against the grain. And they said at an angle like this to try to make it tender. So what I'm going to do is just, my knives are never sharp. That'll probably help me a lot. So I'm just going to continue to cut these in slices. Okay, my boys and girls are here because they know what I'm working with. You see them? There's one, there's two. They're waiting. Okay, so I cut those. Now, the next step, now that I cut them across the grain, I'm just going to cut them up into smaller, more bite-sized pieces. So first crosswise or lengthwise, and then crosswise, or the other way around, you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to trim this so I have more manageable pieces. So those have been cut. I'm just going to throw them into this bowl. Part of the reason why I want to try this with this technique to tenderize it is because if it works, then I can buy cheaper cuts of meat in general, instead of always having to buy the top of the line and trim it up. We'll see, I don't know. Okay, so that's first. Now the next thing that we are going to do is put together the concoction that is going, going to tenderize this. And here I go, okay. So it's gonna start with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I can get to my cornstarch, where is it? Okay. There's 1. And 2. Now, I believe it is 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. That's not going to tenderize, but flavor it. That's from what I understand. We'll see it. There we go. A little extra. Okay. Now, 2 tablespoons of water. 1. And 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Boop. You know me, if I like it, why not? A little more longer. Depending on what the situation is and what you're making and how precise the ingredients have to be. I'm just yammering. My head's foggy. So first what I'm just doing is stirring this to make a nice mixture and get all of the cornstarch and other ingredients mixed up. I might need to use this spoon. Okay, now the next step is to take this mixture, which has all of my ingredients, I'm going to pour it over the meat. I want all of it in there. And then you can just take your fingers and mush it around and get it all nice and evenly mixed. So I think what is supposed to happen is that the cornstarch and the baking soda tenderize the meat. The salt flavors it. So really the idea is once this is all nice and mushy, which it pretty much is, I think, is I'm going to put this, I'm going to cover this and put this in the fridge for at least 2 hours, but you can put it in there for longer. Then we'll take it out and then we'll actually make the rest of the dish. So while that's in the fridge, I'm going to prepare the vegetables for the Mongolian beef. So I'm going to put a jalapeno, an onion, red pepper, green pepper. I think the recipe calls for garlic, so I have it over here too. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The next part is to make the sauce for the beef. So it comes with a few ingredients. Hoisin sauce. Let's see. Well, this is thick. This is 3 tablespoons of this. Let's see. You know this is a recipe because I'm measuring it. Because if it was me, I would just be throwing it in, right? That usually means once I get the hang of it, I'll start just throwing it in. Okay, one more. Right, now, 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce, which I also love. Ooh, yummy. See that beautiful rich color? Whoa. And then one more. Okay, now 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and I just use tamari because I love tamari. There's 1. That's probably all of our sodium right in there. Cool. Okay. And we are putting, let's see, half tablespoon. Let's just clean this out. Can I clean that out? Okay. So it's a half tablespoon of cornstarch. And, oh, I'm dropping. Okay, half teaspoon of vinegar. It just said white vinegar, so I'm using rice vinegar, which looks white. Yellow. About a teaspoon of garlic. Where's my teaspoon? Where's my teaspoon? I need more garlic. Ugh. This allows me to do garlic without getting my fingers sticky. Let's see here. Here. This will make it easier. Oh yeah, okay. There, between this and this is probably a teaspoon. I need to add garlic to my grocery list for tomorrow. Just a tad more. And then it calls for 1 inch of ginger, which would be sort of grated. I don't have ginger. I'm so sorry. I'm probably gonna be blasphemous, but I'm gonna add some ground ginger, maybe just a half teaspoon. It's one of those things I didn't get from the store, but I should have. So let's see if this makes a difference. I don't know. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just stir this up and mix this. This is the sauce for our beef. So I have these cut up, my little vegetables, right? I hope you could see everything I'm doing here. I have my sauce mixed. The last thing to do is really to start stir frying this in the wok. First, I'm just gonna mix this until all the little lumps are evenly, or just smushed out and it's all even in terms of consistency. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Wok, heat. First thing we're going to do is put some oil. I think it was like 4 tablespoons. Really, I'm making a mess. Okay, really, you want just enough to cook your meat. I would. Ugh. Can you believe this? It's like a comedy of errors. Oh, I've got all kinds of oil there too. Let's try that. Okay. Now, so that should be getting nice and warm. Let's see. Let's take a piece. A little bit. You hear it? It needs to sizzle really hot. Just almost, but not quite there. Wow. There's your meat. My meat. And hopefully that will be good. Probably shameful. It's not a hot wok. But you're gonna cook this in the wok, and it's supposed to be hot enough that it only takes a few minutes. Here, I'll give it a second for it to warm up. You hear my wimpy wok? It's still not very hot. It is cooking. So this is one of those notes to self that if I do this again, make sure the wok's really hot before you put it in. It is cooking. I've had it on high. I don't know what else I can do. It's been here trying to get hot for a while. I thought it was sort of an aerodynamic thing. The shape of the wok made it more likely to get hot easy. Maybe I'm wrong. So we're still cooking. Okay, we're back. It's been cooking. I drained off some of the extra oil. Now it calls for adding more garlic. I think it said like 4 teaspoons, which is a lot. It's a lot for Steven to tolerate. I'm trying to add in a little bit more than that. That looks like at least 2 there. Put that back in the fridge. And of course more ginger, of which I don't have any but ground, so we'll put it in just a little squeak. Okay, put that away. Now, finger strikes. We're going to let this saute again. Let's stir and saute for a minute or 2, 30 seconds. This is probably more what it's supposed to sound like. I'm starting to smell. Okay, now, almost ready. I don't want the garlic to burn, so I'm watching it. Gauging. Okay, now our vegetables, which are those green and red peppers, a jalapeno, and an onion. The other thing I didn't get was the green onions. You know, sort of ill-prepared for this. I hope it comes out well. But I just wanted to let you know what's supposed to be in the recipe, so that when you or I make it again, we'll make the appropriate adjustments. Okay, so let this cook for a couple of minutes, just to let those veggies start to brown and soften a bit. That is looking really good.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So just a minute or two to let those soften and brown. It's almost perfect. The vegetables are getting softer, but they still have a little crunch. Now here's the sauce we talked about. We're going to add this. Stir it all in. What I might do is just add just a little touch of water to get the rest of this out of the bowl. I don't know if I need to, but there we go. Now just stir this all together and cook it for another couple of minutes. There's a little cornstarch in there, so it should thicken up nicely as it's cooking. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna let this finish cooking for a minute or two, and then we'll be back with a taste test. I think the powdered vinegar made it smell like pumpkin pie. Ashley thinks it makes it smell like shrimp. It looks really pretty, and the jasmine rice is ready, so we're gonna plate it up, and then we'll give it a little taste test. Okay, can we see it, or is it blurry? I'm trying to unblur it. It looks pretty.
Very nice.
I think my video is still blurry. That's okay, we get the idea. All right, let's try it.
The sauce is really good. And the meat's really well cooked. I like it.
Is it rubbery and tough or kind of
No,
tender?
I think it's good. It's really good.
Excellent.
I love it.
Let me try it. Here's my plate. Jasmine rice, a little fresh sprinkle of scallions, or the green onions would be really pretty on top. And I don't think the recipe called for it, but a little sprinkle of sesame seeds would be nice on top too. Okay, I love the peppers. Let me try a little taste with the pepper and onion and meat. Ready?
Really good.
It's good.
Something about that sauce is amazing.
It's like we ordered takeout. This is really good.
It is really good.
Excellent. 2 thumbs up.